Hey, what's up you guys? Installing a trailer hitch on your GMC Canyon can take you to some really cool places, like camping, biking, or even towing a U-Haul trailer just about anywhere in North America. Let's go ahead and break down that install. You'll need the tools seen here to complete this installation. So to start off our install, we need to remove this bumper support right here. Our hitch is going to replace this and sit right here. So before we remove this, we need to remove some wiring harnesses that are attached to it. We have a couple right here. We're going to remove this one and this one to start. Now to remove those, we're going to take a trim panel tool and we're just going to pry it off from the bottom. And we'll repeat with this top one as well, just so it's out of the way. Now we're going to disconnect this wiring harness right here. Then we're going to push down on that tab and this will just disconnect. So now we're going to follow this wire right here from the harness we just disconnected, and we're going to disconnect this wire as well. We're just going to push down on that tab on the top and pull down. So we have one more harness that runs through our entire bumper. There's a few attachment points that are holding that into place. We have two harnesses that are located here and here. We need to unplug those. We're going to start by removing this using a trim panel tool. So now that this is disconnected and our harness is now on the outside, we're going to push down on this tab and just pull it off. Now we have a second harness right here. Now this one, we're just going to push on that red tab, and then we'll go ahead and push on the tab and disconnect it. And then we have 2 points where it's zip tied to some wiring on our bumper that we're going to have to remove those as well. Now our first zip tie is located right next to the white harness that we disconnected. We're just going to cut that off using some snips. And then a little further down, we have one more zip tie that we're going to cut off. Now right next to our spare tire, attached to our bumper support, we have our spare tire bracket. Now this is being held on by 2 bolts. We're going to remove those using a 13mm socket. So now we're going to remove these 2 bolts on the side of our frame. This is what's holding our bumper into place. Now these are really tight, so we recommend doing it by hand to start, and then you can switch to an air tool or an electric tool. But we're going to be using a 21mm socket to go ahead and loosen those up. And once we have it out all the way, we're just going to leave it loosely in so it holds our bumper into place as we do the other side. And we'll repeat on the other side. Now on the bottom of our bumper support, we have 2 bolts that are holding that into place on the frame. Now we're going to loosen those up using a 21mm socket. So now with all of those bolts loosened up, we're ready to remove our bumper. Now we're going to remove the 4 bolts on the side, the 2 on the driver's side and 2 on the passenger side that are on the side of our frame, not the ones on the bottom. Those are still going to hold in our bumper support. But we're going to go ahead and remove those. And then we'll go ahead and secure it and just hold on to it kind of here on the center as we pull out each side. And then we'll set this aside. So now we're just left with our cross member right here. Now we have those 4 bolts still in. We're just going to secure it and loosen those up. And this will not be reinstalled. Now on our bumper support, we have these 2 metal brackets that we need to remove. Now these tabs are what we use to install our spare tire bracket. So we're just going to take a flathead screwdriver and we're going to pry it off. Now we're ready to install our hitch. Now before so, we're going to take these metal tabs and we're going to install it over these two holes in the center. Now we're going to be using our U-Haul exclusive hitch jack to hold our hitch into place as we put all of our bolts in. Now if you don't have a hitch jack, we do recommend that you get an extra set of hands as this hitch is pretty heavy. So let's go ahead and line that up. Now when lining it up, we want to make sure that we take our harness right here and we have it on the outside. And then we want to make sure that right here on our spare tire bracket, this goes on top of it. Now on the bottom of our frame, we're going to install our new bolts that come with our kit. Now our new bolt comes with a flat washer and a lock washer, and we want it in that order. And we're going to go ahead and just start it. We don't want to tighten it down too much because we have other bolts that we need to make sure we line up. And we'll repeat on the other side. Now we're going to line up our bumper over our hitch attachments, and we're going to go ahead and reinstall it. And then over here we want to make sure we put our wiring harness over this bracket. And as we're putting on the bumper, make sure that our tubing for the spare tire lines up. Now we're going to use the existing bolts that were already on the side to reattach our bumper. And we'll repeat on the other side. Now with everything in place, we're going to tighten and torque all of our bolts to the manufacturer's specification. For our two side bolts, we're going to use a 21mm socket, and for our two bottom bolts, we're going to use a 22mm socket. And it helps to use an extension on the bottom. And we'll repeat on the other side. Now on our spare tire bracket, we're going to reinstall our two bolts using a 13mm socket. Now with everything installed, we're going to reattach all of our harnesses that we disconnected and re-zip tie them so that it's all back to normal, and we're just going to do that in reverse order. With our hitch installed, we pulled our vehicle down onto level ground to show you some important measurements for your hitch accessories. This is a 2-inch receiver. From the pinhole to the end of the bumper is 1.5 inches, and from the ground to the top of the receiver is 19 inches. This will help you determine the length, rise, and drop for your hitch accessories, such as a bike rack. Now that wraps up our install and our video. If you have any questions about this product, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with a U-Haul Hitch Professional, you can visit your closest U-Haul Hitch Center, or you can visit us online at uhaulhitches.com. Thank you.